الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. This is the fourth of a series of 5 videos dealing with the essential skills and concepts for the level 1C class. We've been looking at plurals, and the main point that we've been addressing is the idea of agreement, that plurals or that subjects and predicates as well as any adjectives or whatnot, they need to agree with the ism that goes with them in terms of gender and in terms of number. Okay? What we want to look at today is an exception to that rule. Okay, so that's generally how you study any concept, is you begin with the basic general parameters and then you begin to look at the exceptions. Okay, so what we've been dealing with really thus far as it relates to plurals is that we've been dealing with humans. And so one of the rules in Arabic is that if you're dealing with non-humans, then the non-human plural is treated like a feminine singular word. So that means that the verb that goes with it will be singular and feminine. The adjectives that go with it will be singular and feminine. The predicates that go with it, if it's a single word predicate, will also be singular and feminine, which is demarcated by the ta marbuta. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at today, the exception to the rule with non-human plurals. And so here we're starting with where the book starts at the very first lesson, which is with the demonstrative pronouns or the ism إشارة, هذا and هذه. So what they want you to notice is, first of all, we're going to use the singular feminine ism إشارة or demonstrative pronoun هذه when we change a non-human article or item from singular to plural. So that's the first issue mentioned here. I don't know if did I put the page number in here? No, I didn't put the page number for this from the book, but I was able to find it. I was able to pause my program and find it for you while, even though you didn't know I did that. So it's on page 93. So if you go to page 93 of the Medina books, the original copy, not the new one with the children on the front. I don't know what page it is on that, but in the original copy or a copy of the original copy, it's on page 93. Okay, if you'd like a clearer, more crisp or crisper image or picture. So hada najm, najm is masculine. It does not have a ta marbuta, so we said hada najm. Number 2, hada dars, again, masculine, singular. This is a lesson. Hada qalam, this is a pen, singular, masculine. Hada bab, singular, masculine. Hada masculine. Hada nahar, singular, masculine. Okay, but when we change it to plural, we don't say haula'i nujum. We're used to using haula'i for plurals, but because these are non-human, then we're going to use hadihi. So just like the example says there at the top, هذه بيوت, هذه نجوم, هذه دروس, هذه أقلام, هذه أبواب, هذه أنهار. So these are stars, these are lessons, these are pens, these are doors, these are rivers. And it just goes all the way down. So that includes inanimate objects like mountains and streams and doors. It includes animate objects like dogs, like donkeys. Doesn't matter. The idea here is that if it is non-human, then it's treated like singular feminine. So the first place we see this is in the use of the demonstrative pronoun or the ism إشارة, هذه. Okay? So thereafter, I'll check the page for this one. Yeah, so thereafter on page 94, there's an exercise where you have to choose which ism إشارة to use. So for these here, they want you to use Hadha, hadihi, or haulai. There are only three. What we're going to do, we'll just go through these orally so you can write them down. And it's a video, so you can go back and correct them or listen again if you need to. So here we have rajulun. So we would use hadha, and this is a man. Rijalun. Here we would use haulai. Haulai rijal. These are men. Kelbun. Hadha kelb. We're not going to use hadihi because kelb is singular. This is a dog. Kilab. Hadihi. We're going to use hadihi here, even though kilab is plural because it's non-human. So we would say hadihi kilab. These are dogs. Durus. Hadihi, because durus is plural, but it's non-human, so we treat it like singular feminine. These are lessons. Mudarrisun. Haulai, because mudarrisun are people. And again, we use the waw and the noon for the plural because it begins with a meme and a dhamma. Akhawati. This would be haulai because it's feminine, plural, human beings. My sister. These are my sisters. Aqlam. Hadihi, because aqlam is the plural of qalam, but it's non-human, so we use the singular feminine. Kitab. Hadha, because it's singular masculine. Sayyarat. Hadihi, and we know that it's plural because of the alif and the open ta. Sayyara in its original form takes the ta marbuta, which comes right after. So we would also say hadihi sayyara. So plural, singular, we end up using the same form because it's singular feminine and plural non-human. So hadihi sayyarat and hadihi sayyara, no problem with that. Himar, we would use hadha because it's masculine singular. Kutub, which is the plural of kitab, that would be hadihi, okay, because it's non-human. Humur. Humur is the plural of himar, so this would be hadihi because it's non-human. Even though it's animal, even though it's a live object, we still treat it as singular feminine or a non-human plural. Ain. Hadihi ain, we remember hadihi because it's a body part. Tabiba, hadihi tabiba because it's singular feminine, so it naturally takes hadihi. And then tabibat, it would be haulai because tabib is a person, and so plural people take the plural ism ishara. Okay, then they have you do the same thing with dhalika, tilka, and ulaika. So we'll do that exercise together. So talib, singular masculine, we would say dhalika talib, that is a student. Tullab, we would say ulaika because human beings, so they take the normal plural form. Najm, we would say dhalika because najm is singular masculine. Nujum, we would say hadihi nujum, these are stars because nujum is non-human, and so we treat it like singular feminine. Bint, we would say hadihi because it's singular and feminine. Banat, we would say haulai because they are humans. So these are daughters and this is a daughter. Darraja, we would say hadihi because it's feminine because of the ta marbuta. Darrajat, hadihi, many bicycles, because even though it's plural, it's still non-human, so we treat it like singular feminine. And sarir would be, this is a bed, hadha sarir. Okay? So that rule, it persists whether we're talking about adjectives, we're talking about demonstrative pronouns, we're talking about bedel, anything that again that we use, we're going to treat it like it's feminine singular. Okay, so we have this we have a selection of ayat from Surah Al-Ghashiyah which allows us to apply this rule. Okay, now it's important to understand that individual body parts, even though they're a part of human beings, are not considered to be human, and so they're also treated in the plural as feminine. So that's an important point to make, because we've made the distinction between treating body parts as masculine and feminine based upon whether it is only one part or whether it comes in pairs, like hands and feet and so on. But if we mention a body part that does not come in pairs, like faces, like noses, like heads, then we treat it as feminine if it's in the plural form, because it's non-human. Even though it's a human part, it's non-human in terms of its actual existence. Okay? And so here in ayat number 2, it says, Wujuhun yawma idhin, on that day. So this is kind of coming in between the it's come between the subject and the predicate, probably because, again, usually if the subject and the predicate, if they follow one another in those 4 things that adjectives do, then you'll probably have something that will divide it. We've seen the pronouns, hada, huwa, haqqul yaqeen, ulaika, humul kafirun. So there's some type of divide there so that you don't treat them as adjectives. So perhaps that's why yawma idhin is here in the middle of these two, because if not, then we might think it was an adjectives. So faces on that day will be low, or will be lowered. So we have wujuh, and then we have khashia. So wujuh is the plural of wajh, yeah? And because it's a plural and because it's technically non-human, then we use the feminine singular adjective khashia, ala wazni fa'ila. Okay? Amilatun nasiba. These two descriptions go back to faces. Wujuhun, yani yawma idhin, amilatun, wujuhun yawma idhin nasiba. Okay? So it doesn't seem really like nasiba is an adjective for amila. These are both just predicates being used to describe wujuh. Tosla naran hamia. So here hamia is not describing faces now. It's describing nar. They will remain in a hot fire. Okay, so nar, we benefit from this, that even though nar does not have a ta marbuta, it's treated like, it is feminine. So we've mentioned that there are certain words that are feminine even if they don't have any feminine indicators. And so, like shams is feminine, or shamsi wa duhaha. And so nar is also feminine, which we benefit by its adjective. Okay, we see they're on the same scale. So nar on hamia. Hamia does not describe faces, it describes nar. Tusqa min aynin aniya. Aniya, yeah, also hot, describes ayn, which is a river or a spring. Here, ayn is also feminine, even though it doesn't have a ta marbuta naturally. Okay, so we benefit that. So these are singular feminine with singular feminine adjectives. ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع وجوه يومئذ ناعمة. Okay, so now we have wujuh being described with ناعمة. لسعيها راضية. راضية is still describing wujuh. Okay, so basically we have this prepositional phrase here for its strivings. So for its strivings, or by its strivings, pleased. So faces will be pleased by its strivings. If we're going to put that sentence in a better order, well, not better, but if we're going to put it back in original order, we would say wujuhun radiyatun li sa'yiha. Yani faces will be pleased with their strivings and the work that they've done. Okay, so radiya, again singular feminine, is describing wujuh, which is plural but non-human. Fi jannatin aliyah. Aliyah is describing Jannah. Okay, so singular feminine, singular feminine. If it said Jannat, then that would fall under what we're talking about, because Jannat would be plural. But here it says Jannah, okay, and Aliyah. So in lofty heavens or paradise. Now, or lofty gardens. لا تسمع فيها لاغية فيها عين جارية. Again, ayn, feminine. We had ayn ania, and here we have ayn jariya, running springs. Okay, feminine singular, even though it doesn't have the ta marbuta. فيها سرر مرفوعة. They have beds or cushions that are marfu'a. So surur is the plural of sarir. So here we do have what we're talking about. Surur is the plural, yeah, but because it's non-human, then we treat it with the singular feminine adjective. Raised or lifted cushions or couches or spreads or beds or what have you. وَأَكْوَابٌ مَوْضُوعَةٌ. So akwab is the jam of kub, which is a cup. So mawdu'a, placed. So here again, plural, non-human, takes the singular feminine adjective. وَأَكْوَابٌ مَوْضُوعَةٌ. وَنَمَارِقُ مَصْفُوفَةٌ. So namariq from namraqa, which is the like the cushions that you lean upon. Or armrests, yeah, but like isolated armrests, not armrests that are part of an armchair. So again, this is a plural form, namariqu. It's also this form, is it fawa'il? Well, we won't get into that. Namariqu, I was trying to point out to why, but that form is mamnu' min as-sarf. It doesn't take tanween, doesn't take kesra under normal circumstances. Masfufa, so again, masfufa has that ta marbuta. It's singular feminine because we're dealing with a non-human plural. And also masfufa deals with what we've taken as well from words that have doubled endings, doubled letters. So saffa, saffa is sod, fa, and so we see that we break that apart. Saf becomes masfufa. Zarabi, you mabthutha. Zarabi, if I'm not mistaken, are like rugs that are spread out or spread out carpets, rolled out carpets. And here we have mabthutha, also treated as singular feminine because it is non-human. So we have the ta marbuta, and also this is doubled ending, betha. Betha means to be spread out. If we look at this surah here, surah to takwir, we have either shamsu kuwirat. So shams is feminine, even though it doesn't have any feminine markers as we mentioned before, but the verb for it takes the ta maftuha with the sukun. And as we mentioned previously, the ta with the sukun is the indicator. Now, all of these verbs, or most of these verbs in this surah, are on the fu'ila form. Now, what fu'ila means is it's the passive form. Passive meaning that you don't name who does the action. I say, ukila al-khubz, the bread was eaten. So here it's mentioning the actions without saying who did it. If you want to do that, then you use the fu'ila. So you put a dhamma on the first letter on the fa, you put a kesra on the second letter, and you use a fatha on the third letter, fu'ila. Okay, and then you feminize that. We want to make that a word. You make that feminine by putting the ta and the sukun on it. So either shamsu kuwirat, we use kuwirat with a ta because of shams, and when the sun is wound around. Wa idha nujumun kadarat. And when the stars, so here we have nujum, not najm, nujum. And so because nujum is the plural, non-human, then it becomes inkadarat tamrabuta, and it loses its light. That form in fa'ala with the hamza begins with the hamza, and then the noon with the sukoon, and then it's followed by the three letters of the verb. That is a actual passive form number 7 of the verbs. If you look at the Hansford Dictionary, Roman numeral 7, that's that form. But we'll be, like I said, we'll be studying that inshallah in book 2. وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ سُيِّرَتْ. Okay, so we have jibal, the plural of jabal, and it says suyirat, and when they lose their firmness and they begin to move, or they are made to move. وَإِذَا الْعِشَارُ عُطِّلَتْ. Ishar are the pregnant camels. عطلت, they're left alone, they're walked away from, because usually a shepherd would give more attention to the camel getting ready to have a baby. وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشِ, the wild animals. حُشِرَت, so again wuhush here is plural. حُشِرَت, they're gathered together to be judged between them. Again, we use the ta sukun, even though this is plural. Even though they're alive, they are non-humans, and so because of that, they're treated as singular feminine. وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ سُجِّرَتْ, when the seas, from bahar, this is the plural of bahar, bihar, when the seas are set ablaze. Sujjirat. وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ, so nufus, soul. So even though the soul is a part of a human being, it's considered to be feminine as it is non-human. Also, even if it were singular, a nafs is also singular, even though it doesn't have a ta marbuta in its singular form. So it says, Ya ayyatuha nafsul mutma'innah, with a ta marbuta. O you soul at, or peaceful soul, or soul at rest. فَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ, when like souls are put together, yani the souls of the kuffar and the souls of the believers. وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ, when the buried child is questioned. So here, al-maw'uda, that's singular feminine because of the ta marbuta, and so naturally it would have a singular feminine verb. وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ, and when the scrolls are spread out. Suhuf, from sahifa, this is a plural. Suhuf, like kutub, and then nushirat is singular feminine because it has the ta with sukun. وَإِذَا السَّمَاءُ كُشِطَتْ, sama here is singular feminine. It is another word that, even though it doesn't have a ta marbuta, it is considered feminine. And when it's kushitat, when it's removed away, when the sky no longer exists, when it's removed. وَإِذَا الْجَحِيمُ سُعِرَتْ, when the hellfire is set ablaze. Again, singular, it doesn't have the ta marbuta. So we have a lot of examples here of feminine words that don't have a ta marbuta in them. And so it's naturally singular feminine because jahim is singular and feminine. وَإِذَا الْجَنَّةُ أُزْلِفَتْ, and then again singular feminine jannah, and so its verb is singular feminine. And then alimat nafsun ma ahdarat. So here this proves what we mentioned earlier, which is that nafs by itself is considered feminine, and that's why it says ma ahdarat, and what it is sent forth, any the soul. And so it has the ta with the sukun, singular feminine, because it itself is singular feminine. So again, this is a nice example not only of plurals being used, or non-human plurals being used as singular feminine, or with singular feminine predicates and those types of things in verbs, but also we get a nice example, or a nice sample of singular feminine words that don't end with a ta marbuta. So very rich ayat in terms of examples and things. The last exercise that we'll do here, we're looking at predicates as singular words, and also we're looking at adjectives. I believe, predicates as singular words, and adjectives that are, when we change them to feminine plural, that they must agree. Okay, so in this instance, since we this is the last exercise, I'm going to see if I can do that text box again like I was going to do before, and then we can use that to write our answers in. Okay, since we don't have any text below this, it shouldn't be a problem. So let me just change this to write. Change this to Arabic, and then we'll put that at a font. Let's say 30. Oh, that's too big. Make that a 26. Okay. So the first one says هذا. So we see الباب مفتوح, masculine, singular masculine, singular masculine. We said the predicate and the subject should agree in gender and number. And so here it becomes الأبواب مفتوحة. So when we changed bab to plural, then its predicate became singular feminine, maftuha, with the ta marbuta. And so here it says, هذا قلم جديد. So if we're going to change qalam to aqlam, then the first change we're going to make is, yeah, we can make that bigger. هذه, yeah, أقلام. We're going to say judud. No, we're not going to say judud. We're going to say jadida, because aqlam is non-human, and so we treat it like singular feminine when it comes to the ism إشارة, like we see here in the beginning, when it comes to the predicate that comes to the end, when it comes to any adjectives that we use. That's how we're going to deal with it. Singular feminine. Okay, so next one we have an-najmu jamil. So we're going to change that to, what do you remember the plural for najm? The plural for najm is nujum. So an-nujum. And then the plural is going to be jimal, la, jamila. Okay, jamilatun. It says dhalika kitabun qadim. Okay, so now, does kitab go with dhalika or does kitab go with qadim? Kitab goes with qadim. It doesn't go with dhalika. I mean that this is not a bedel here, because dhalika is specific and kitab is general. Remember, if we're dealing with a tabi' like a bedel or a sifa, then they have to agree with one another in terms of specificity. Subjects and predicates don't have to do that, but tawabi', like the bedel and the sifa and those, they have to agree also in specificity. So here we're going to say tilka. Okay, we're going to change it to feminine, and then we would say kutubun, tilka kutubun qadima. Okay, tilka kutubun qadima. Okay, same thing here. We're going to say tilka. Now here we have the bedel, okay, because notice here we have the alif lam on it. So now that means that, so why is that important? I'm getting ahead of myself, because it's going to help us deal with our translation. So هذه أقلام جديدة. These are new pens. These are new pens. The stars are beautiful. That is an old book, or those are old books. Those are old books. Now when we say ذلك البيت جميل, now we're going to say تلك البيوت. تلك البيوت. Those houses. Not those are houses. No. Those houses are beautiful. Jamila. Okay, so just notice the difference there. Tilka kutubun qadima. Those are old books. Okay, but here tilka al-buyut jamila. Those houses are beautiful. Okay, so that's the difference in how you would translate the bedel as opposed to the predicate. So just keep that in mind. Hada dars sahal. Okay, so again, we're dealing with a bedel, because hada and dars agree in specificity, which takes us beyond the predicate. Remember, the predicate is only going to agree in number and gender, but the bedel or the sifa is also going to agree in specificity. If it's specific, it's specific. If it's general, it's general, and such. So we would say here, هذه الدروس سهلة. Okay, these lessons are easy. Not these are easy lessons. If it was these are easy lessons, it would be هذه. Take off the alif lam. هذه دروس سهلة. These are easy lessons, and this would have to be durusun. Okay, but if we say هذه الدروس, then we're saying these lessons. These lessons are easy. Good. Last one we have here. The last one that we have here is ذلك الجبل بعيد. Okay, so also a bedel as well. So we would say tilka الجبال, those mountains, not those are mountains. Okay, tilka الجبال بعيدة. Okay, those mountains are far. If we wanted to say those are far away mountains, we would say tilka, take off the alif lam, tilka jibalun ba'idatun. Those are far away mountains. Okay, or those are distant mountains. But when we have the alif lam, again, it's a very simple issue, but it can really affect your translation and how well you do that. So tilka al-jibalu ba'ida. Those mountains are far away. Okay? We'll go ahead and look at what your assignment is going to be. We have a nice full revision here for different plurals. The image here is not that clear. It's not as clear as I would like it to be. So if you'd like to use your book, you can go to page 98 of your book, and that'll be an opportunity for you to, have maybe a better image of the exercises. But what you're going to do here is basically you're going to change these sentences to plural. Okay, so this is a continuation of where we actually left off. So the exercise that we stopped at was number 7 or number 6. So you'll continue here with number 7. So same thing. Change these to plurals and then try to translate them properly. Okay, based on how we did it. So that way I can see if you're distinguishing between the bedel or the appositive and the adjective. It says here in each of these spaces put an appropriate predicate. Okay, so what they want you to do is we have some words here that are naturally feminine, singular. We have some words that are singular masculine. We have some words that are plural, non-human, and plural and are human. So you can use whatever predicate or completion that you like. But what they would like you to do is they want you to make sure that they agree. So this is a good exercise for reviewing what we've taken. Also on the same page, page 98. And then just reviewing what are the plurals of these words. They've passed us in the lesson. And you can go back, I think it was to page 93. There's that list of different plurals. But see if you can do it on your own first. Because again, level 1C is all about, or mostly about plurals. So you want to make sure that you are able to recognize those plurals and change those words into plurals as necessary. Okay, so that's our day 4 lesson. Thank you very much for tuning in with us. Inshallah, hopefully you'll find, again, that you're finding these lessons beneficial, I hope, and you're finding the assignments to be a bit more doable and more at your pace. And look forward to lesson number 5. Jazakallah khaira wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.